All right, well, while Lamar is skipping Ravens OTAs, you mentioned it, Mahomes on hand with the Chiefs. Probably a good idea. He needs to build some chemistry after Tyreek Hill's departure. But Mahomes doesn't seem too worried about losing his all-pro wideout. Says this season is going to be everybody. It's not just going to be one guy. We're all involved. Nick, you expect Mahomes to regress without Tyreek?
No, of course not. I think this might be the best year of his career. I think what Mahomes accomplished last year during the year, where he solved the one defense that his entire career, the only defense that at any point in his career had given him any trouble, that we're going to take away all the deep shots, we're going to make you work underneath, actually is going to be great practice for a team that now is going to have less incentive to take as many deep shots. So the reason that I was okay with the Tyreek Hill trade is the whole idea behind having the best quarterback in football is that you don't have to pay $30 million a year for a wide receiver. They still have the best tight end in the league. The offensive line was vastly improved, and I like the kid they drafted. So no, I do not expect Patrick Mahomes to regress. Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the league, and we've seen him play nearly half a dozen games without Tyreek. He averages, 350 yards and a 120 passer rating without Tyreek in his career? Mahomes will be fine. Come on.
Well, Nick, you are playing fast and loose with the numbers again. Here they are. Without Tyreek, the numbers are good, but not what you said. 4-1 record. Here we go. 347 yards a game. Nice TD to interception ratio. You said 120 passer rating. That's 103.
I was literally doing it off the top of my head.
Yeah, fast and loose, as I said. But to your point, I do agree with you, Nick. I don't think he regresses. I actually think, I think they'd love to have Tyreek, but I do think, Nick, that this will eliminate, or should eliminate, Mahomes just throwing the ball up deep because he knew that Tyreek would outrun everybody and go get it. And sometimes that led to some turnovers. So I'm with you. It could even help him improve. But I do like the receiving core that they got, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I'm higher on McCole Hardman than you are. And John Smith-Schuster, also known as Juju, is there.
John.
So, look, I think he's going to be great, and they're going to be great. I'm not worried, Wilds.
Okay, nobody's worried. So last year, Tyreek Hill was one of the best weapons in the history of the NFL, and now he's not on the team, and he's going to get better, and the Chiefs are all of a sudden going to be better. Okay, Jenna, I don't have any stats to back that up except common sense.
Can I ask a question real quick?
There's common sense. That's my take. Here's my notes. Common sense.
Wilds, just a real question. I'm just curious. How much did Brady regress after Moss left? Or did he win multiple MVPs immediately after Moss left? I'm just curious. You're the Pats fan,
I'll tell you that
so I'm not the expert.
We weren't undefeated. Okay,
well, you weren't undefeated the year with Moss either, but you did go 14-2 immediately after Moss left. And you went back to the Super Bowl and lost to the Giants just like you did with Moss. You did literally the same thing.
Patrick Mahomes,
what are you talking about?
Time to run the no-huddle. OTAs have kicked off around the league. As you know, these are optional for players. Lamar Jackson, who still does not have a long-term deal, opted to skip them. Ravens president Sashi Brown says he doesn't think there's any reason for alarm. I do, but nobody asked me. Broussard, is Lamar skipping OTAs a big deal? What you're going to say, or no big deal?
Well, Jenna, I don't think it's a big deal in terms of meaning Lamar doesn't want to be in Baltimore or that he's upset or bothered by the contract negotiations. But I do think it's a big deal in that I think Lamar may be blowing it. And I mean blowing it this entire offseason, mainly by not signing the lucrative long-term contract extension that, by all reports, the Ravens are just waiting to give him. All right, and reports, and even the owner of the Ravens have come out and said publicly, Lamar is so focused on winning a Super Bowl, it's almost like he feels like he's not worthy. That's a quote of getting the money. Like he wants to win the Super Bowl, then get the huge money. Sure, if he wins a Super Bowl next year, the contract will be much bigger than it would be this offseason. But Lamar is coming off 2 straight down seasons, statistically, production-wise, throwing and running, and he's coming off a year in which he was injured. I think he needs to be in OTAs, getting reps with this new receiving core after he lost Hollywood Brown, getting reps with the new rookie center they drafted, and getting himself prepared to have his best year, especially if for some strange reason he's not going to sign the extension. And Nick, I just think by not going to OTAs, I don't think the Ravens are totally upset, but it does create a little more tension in the organization and between organization and Lamar, to the point that if he gets hurt next year and doesn't sign the extension, gets hurt next year, or his production continues to drop, then it's going to be easier for them to be like, you know what? Maybe we don't need to pay him $50 million a year for the next 5 years. So I just think he needs to go ahead and sign that extension and get in camp or OTAs.
Well, I'm glad you're focused on the extension part, because that's also where I'm focused. Listen, I will never criticize football players for skipping off-season stuff that's not mandatory. I feel like I'm the only person that remembers this, but a decade ago, the owners locked the players out and killed them in the negotiations. One of the only concessions the players got was fewer mandatory off-season days. And then the moment the players got it, the teams tried to make the non-mandatory days de facto mandatory days. I wouldn't be bothered if an entire team didn't show up for OTAs. Like, that is what you negotiated. Your union got you.
Right.
And then the teams put the screws to the players that could be cut or have their salaries cut or anything like that, to where the optional stuff ends up becoming mandatory. I don't show up to a hell of a lot of work things that aren't mandatory. I'm sure a lot of the viewers don't either, so I don't blame players for not showing up to that. In regards to the negotiation stuff, Wilds, I think one of 2 things is happening. Either A, the Ravens' lucrative long-term deal is one of those fake money deals. It's $44 million a year, but it's 1.5 years guaranteed. That it's a play-by-year, pay-by-year deal, and I wouldn't sign that if I were Lamar. The other option is it's a real contract offer, and Lamar is being what I would consider incredibly reckless. Because given his style of play, given his body frame, given his own injury history, he is not a guy that I think should be rolling the dice, doing the Kirk Cousins thing of, well, I'm going to hit free agency eventually and end up being one of the richest players ever. I understand why some quarterbacks would want to do that. They would say, Kirk Cousins is mediocre, and he's going to be one